Hi everyone, welcome back. So today I'm going to be reviewing an ARC book that I received through NetGalley, so thank you NetGalley. So I received the book Sons of Darkness, and I really enjoyed this. At first, I didn't think I was going to, but I did. I ended up really liking it. So I'll probably give it like a 4.5, maybe 5-star, but I think if I reread this, I would probably give it a 5-star because that beginning was just so rough for me that first time. But I think if I read it again the second time, I don't think I would obviously struggle as much with it because I would know the characters, I would see what's happening. So I think that would give it more of the 5-star for me. But as of right now, I'm feeling more of that 4.5, kind of area. It's there, but I had that beginning that was just rough. But this is, I think, going to be a great series. I really do. I'm really excited about what this author has done. I think it's really cool. Now, I will say, don't let the names intimidate you. Those names are crazy, like, to just jump into, and you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Between the, 6 different point of views, and then they all have really unique names. And then the places themselves have unique names. You just feel really lost. And it's really hard to get into. That's why probably around that 30%, I was just like, do I keep going? Do I keep pushing through? And I'm like, I hear so many good things, so many good reviews. And honestly, I read the author's note about this book in Goodreads. He kind of he gave his own review of the book. And he kind of told a little bit about it on Goodreads. And that actually really helps me to keep wanting to go through. Here's a little bit of his note that I'm just going to read, but this is the author's note, and it helps sum up my feelings. But he said, this is his words, but he said, another thing before I leave Sons of Darkness will feel like a slow burn in the beginning. The characters' South Asian names might feel overwhelming. There is no central hero, but I promise that the labyrinth you find yourself in is a web unraveling around you, all in a bid to snare you. For I never intended the book to be read on the course of a short flight journey. No, I want this book to be something you marinate in, something you simmer in with a host of spices. So stay with it, and I promise the book will go for your throat. There are swords, morning stars, battle axes, and war hammers. There are castles, siege engines, and ports. There are Indian weddings, there are murder trials, there's a whole new world waiting for you to explore it. That's perfect. I love that. And I'm not gonna lie, that little tidbit right there really helps motivate me to keep going because I'm like, if he's got something like this to say about his book, I'm sure he has a lot of good things to say within the book. So like I said, it really helped to motivate me to keep going. And I'm so glad I did. I really am. Once I hit after that 30% range, that's when I was I finally, seeing the point of views come back. And I was just like, okay, this is making sense. I'm getting there. But the book starts off where you get a little bit of a prologue. And then it skips thousands of years. And you're just like, okay, I followed that first part, and now you're starting over on me again. Thank you. But then it's weird because you're first getting this point of view of this woman who's kind of a little bit of an oracle, and she can, they do a little bit of prophesying kind of thing, and they have their own order of things, and it's interesting. It's hard to explain. But she is essentially reading a lot of the story that's being written. But it's not in the past and it's not in the future. Actually, it's mainly current. And so when you're reading it, she actually will show up in the current timeline too. But it's hard to get it's hard to get the feel for it. So that adds a little bit to that confusion there, especially in the beginning, because you're kind of like, okay, when is she? But then it starts to make sense later on. And so that once you get past that, and that's just a short little chapter interlude here and there, it kind of helps break up some of those other storylines because it is broken up into sections and everything. But you are following a multitude of point of views. And like I said, the names can be a little intimidating. This is more, the author is going more for Indian fantasy because he said that, there's not a lot there. And while it is intimidating at first, I'm so glad I stuck through it, and you'll get there and you'll get used to the names. I am going to butcher these, so I apologize in advance, but here are some of the names that are in there. The main characters you're getting are, you're getting Krishna, which I like him a lot. He's pretty good. He's a pretty big main character. You also get Shakuni. He's kind of like Glok. I'm not going to pronounce this right either, but Glokta from that First Law trilogy, which I have a lot of feelings on that. So maybe I'll do another video on that, and I'd like to see if anyone can convince me to try rereading it, because that was a DNF for me. But this character is a lot like that one. It's different in ways, but you kind of get that same feel. He's kind of more been like crippled, but he's also kind of this, not really like a torturer, but he can. He has a lot of influence, and he's, very up there in the political sphere. So I didn't read a whole lot of the First Law. I just read probably halfway through the first book, so I only really know a little bit about Glokta, so I can't really say if they're really similar or not. I just know a little bit. Then you have Draupadi. I don't know. I'm so sorry, but she's a princess, and she's in there a lot. She's plays a very central part because everyone's essentially fighting over her. And you have Nala, Masha, who she is the one of the main, well, not the main one, but she was that beginning one that I was talking about, where you're kind of getting her point of view at first, and she's one of those oracle, but she's called a matron. Then you have Shakuni and Karna. Karna, he's the hero, not really a hero, but he's kind of, he's either someone everyone loves or everyone hates. So he plays a very central part, but he also is very unfortunate and a lot of things. And then you have some characters that you might get their point of view at times, but for the most part, they tend to be side characters. And towards the end, there is a huge battle, and you're getting a ton of people's point of views, but they're really short because a lot of them are dying. But that was the first time you're seeing them, so it's not like you're really attached. Well, some of them you might, but the author does a great job. He writes characters so well. Each character that I'm naming, or any of the side ones, each character has their own unique personality, their own unique stories. You really get a feel for them. Each point of views, they feel different, they sound different, they have different motives, and you can just tell which characters they are. And I think that really helps with some of that name distinction, because you're seeing how different they are, and you're just oh, I know that one because this is their motive. So you get a lot of that. But some of the side characters you get, there's a couple of these. I'm just not even gonna try. But one of the main girls that's with Krishna, she's his third wife, and her name is Satyabhama. I'm so sorry. This is terrible. But she is really cool. I liked her a lot. She's very interesting. So here's a quote from the book that perfectly kind of describes her. But it says, many bards had attempted to describe, there's her name, Satyabhama, but they all failed. Perhaps it is the sheer contradictions of her personality, the stern, unforgiving, ruthless warrior, and the mother patron of 100 orphaned girls. So she's this tough warrior person who, she's really cool. I mean, she just goes out there and fights, but she also is saving, young girls who have nobody, have been leading horrible lives. They're out on the street. She helps save them, and they become part of the Silver Wolves group. And she forms this, and they can now, fight back themselves. And she just takes care of them. So she's a really interesting character. I really like her. But the main point of the book, there's a lot of political maneuvering. So there's a lot going on. One of the storylines going through is, so you have Krishna, who he is ruling Mithra, and he is trying to not be a tyrant, but he is more trying to form up that kind of Senate feel where you are, essentially the people are the ones that have the voice. Anyone can move up in life. He's trying to kind of be more of that equal setting, but he's also the one in charge. So I guess, how much is he really allowing the people to move up? That's kind of a question. But there's this other ruling empire, Magadan. It's another M one, but it has a G in it. And they are at war with Mithra and trying to conquer them. In my head, I actually sound these out flawlessly. No, I'm just kidding. It's a mess in my head too. So you kind of have those two places kind of warring with each other. So there's a lot of political maneuvering going on. They're currently in an armistice, but other groups, there's the Greeks that are trying to also conquer Mithra. So you kind of have multiple forces coming at them. But the other one, the Empire, they're just essentially trying to take over everything. They're trying to swallow up all the other, independent places. So you're getting a lot of, political movement going on. And then also, as I mentioned with that princess, she is having kind of she's having suitors come to essentially, win in some type of manner, which in this one it's archery. And whoever can do the goal gets to essentially marry her. And there's tons of suitors from everywhere. This is where you really get to see all the characters finally kind of come together, at least with a lot of the point of views. And you get to see them, trying to outmaneuver each other and everything with all the political, movements there, trying to negotiate with other ones, trying to get allies, the insults. So you're seeing a lot of movement going on in that area because they're all together for this. And that's a huge event in the book. All the characters are trying to, get to that event and make sure that they have someone representing their nation. So that's a big point of the story, and that one has a lot of lasting consequences too. But yeah, and then overall these politics going on, there's also this ultimate prophecy talking about the son of darkness rising to break the world. And towards the end of the book, you get finally a little bit of a taste of this prophecy coming to life, and which is leading up to the future books in the series and showing and just revealing a little bit of what's to come, maybe some of the magic that might be involved too. And you're getting a little bit of a flashback too from that first prologue of the book. So it's all coming together. You're seeing there's just so much going on. There's so many plot lines. The characters are amazing. The political movements are amazing. I mean, the world building. There's just a lot of, really, really good bits about this book. I really did enjoy it. I like I mentioned, I definitely think a reread will make me love this all the more because that beginning was just so rough for me. But I think because I can now see a lot of what had happened and, I finally know who the characters are, I think I'll get through it a whole lot easier. So I definitely recommend this book. I really do. But you go into it knowing that it might be a little bit of a slow start. Go into it knowing that you might get frustrated with, not knowing who everyone is. You're getting all those point of view switches. When you feel like you're finally getting to know someone, then you get a new point of view and you're like, oh, I just was getting to know that person. But don't worry, they come back. You'll get that feel again for all of them. And there was never a time where I was like, oh, I'm getting this point of view again. I don't like this person. Honestly, I enjoyed them all. I really did. There was really no one that I was like, I hated being in their head or anything. I really did like it. I also think a physical copy would help with this book because I know when flipping through starting off with the ebook, there was a little bit of an index in the beginning, kind of helping you to know the names and who they belong to in their nation. So I think that would have helped to flip back to every once in a while, but I didn't have that in the ebook. It didn't really allow me to flip back and forth. So I do think a physical book would help too, to help you navigate this a little easier. but I still really enjoyed this. I mean, I still rated it, that 4.5, almost 5 stars. So, I mean, I really did like it. And my complaints are minimal. It's just, I mean, that ending was harsh. But this is kind of more of a grimdark, so you're getting what you expect. But I liked it. I really did. It's so complex and wonderfully written. I can't believe, this is like a debut novel. I mean, I love it. It was just so good. I mean, the characters, everything. I mean, this is definitely a high fantasy book. I really liked it, and I definitely think you should give it a shot. I think this series is going to turn out to be something amazing, and I'm so excited to see what he's going to do next. I really enjoyed it. So I definitely recommend it. I hope you check it out when it comes out. And like I said, get the physical book. Keep your mind open for some of this. And just enjoy the ride.